Archangel Michael's voice resonated in the quiet corners of the room, a tone both commanding and comforting, echoing through the walls with a resonance that felt almost physical. It was as if the very air vibrated with the intensity of his presence, and yet there was a softness beneath the authority, a warmth that wrapped around the soul like a gentle embrace. His words were simple but charged with urgency. Open this at once. A wonderful surprise is on its way to your home. Don't delay, open it immediately. The phrase lingered in the mind, insistent, a kind of melodic urgency that refused to be ignored. One could feel the subtle pressure of unseen wings, a presence just beyond the periphery of vision, urging forward with a sense of inevitability. It was not a mere suggestion, it carried a weight, a cosmic insistence that demanded attention and response. The idea of a wonderful surprise sparked curiosity and anticipation, a flutter in the chest that mingled with a faint, almost imperceptible apprehension. What could it be? The mind raced with possibilities, each more fantastical than the last. Perhaps it was a gift, wrapped in material form, something tangible yet infused with meaning, or perhaps it was a message, an insight, a revelation that could shift the very course of thought and understanding. The phrase, "Don't delay," was almost a mantra, repeated in the mind like a chant, creating a sense of urgency that was hard to ignore, like the ticking of an unseen clock whose hands moved with a purpose beyond comprehension. The room seemed to shift subtly as the words sank in, a gentle pressure at the chest as if to say that the moment was ripe, that hesitation was unnecessary and perhaps even counterproductive. There was a delicate tension between curiosity and caution, a tug-of-war between desire and restraint, each vying for dominance as the mind contemplated the unknown nature of the promised surprise. Michael's presence, though unseen in the physical sense, was undeniable in its effect. One could sense the alignment of energies, the subtle pull of universal forces orchestrating the timing and nature of the gift that was arriving. It was as if the universe itself had conspired, bending moments and chances into a precise, coordinated path that now culminated in this instant, the point at which action was required. The mind wandered through a labyrinth of scenarios, each more vivid and intricate than the last. Perhaps it was a letter, a simple envelope containing words that could shift perspectives, spark joy, or bring clarity to a situation long muddied by doubt or uncertainty. Perhaps it was a package, wrapped with care, exuding an aura of intention and love, a tangible token of thoughtfulness and divine timing. The imagination painted scenes of discovery, the unfolding of paper, the reveal of contents that shimmered with a meaning beyond the ordinary, each possibility tinged with an excitement that was almost palpable. There was a quiet reflection on the nature of surprises, of gifts and messages that arrive unbidden yet perfectly timed. Life, in its mysterious orchestration, often sends moments of wonder when least expected, when the mind is prepared yet unprepared, when the heart is open yet hesitant. Michael's insistence was a reminder of this truth, a prompt to embrace the unknown, to act with trust and openness, to allow the unfolding of life's mysteries without delay or reservation. The words themselves carried layers of meaning. "Open this at once" suggested immediacy, a breaking of inertia, a call to action that transcended mere physical motion. It was a metaphor for receptivity, for allowing experiences and insights to enter consciousness without the filters of doubt or fear. The idea of a wonderful surprise spoke to the inherent goodness and abundance of life, to the presence of blessings that often arrive unannounced, wrapped in forms both expected and unexpected, and waiting to be recognized and appreciated. The insistence on not delaying emphasized the importance of timing, the alignment of circumstances that make certain moments ripe for reception, when the heart and mind are attuned to the flow of the universe, and when hesitation could mean missing the fullness of the gift being offered. The anticipation built steadily, a crescendo of curiosity and eagerness that was difficult to contain. One could almost feel the presence of the gift, a subtle vibration in the space around, a gentle hum of energy that hinted at joy, transformation, or revelation. The mind imagined the textures, the colors, the sounds, the tactile sensations of interacting with whatever was arriving. Perhaps it was something handcrafted, imbued with care and intention, or perhaps it was a fleeting moment, a synchronicity that would imprint itself in memory and shift perspective in ways both profound and subtle. There was a sense of preparation, an almost ritualistic readiness to engage with the unknown. The body tensed slightly, a mix of excitement and anticipation, the breath catching in small, deliberate pauses as the mind rehearsed the act of opening, of unveiling, of receiving. It was not merely an act of curiosity but a profound acknowledgement of the unseen, a recognition that life and the universe operate on levels beyond immediate perception, and that moments of magic and wonder often require receptivity and courage. Michael's presence provided reassurance, a sense of protection and guidance that underpinned the urgency of the command. It was as if the Archangel's wings formed a shield around the moment, safeguarding it from interference or doubt, creating a sacred space in which the act of opening could occur unhindered. The mind considered the layers of symbolism embedded in the scenario. Opening a gift, a message, or a container of surprises is an archetypal act, representing curiosity, courage, and trust. It is a gesture of faith, of willingness to engage with the unknown, and of recognition that life often communicates through symbols and signs rather than direct instruction. The urgency added a layer of intensity, suggesting that the timing was critical, that the alignment of circumstances created a unique window in which the experience could be fully appreciated and understood. There was a subtle interplay between anticipation and patience, excitement and restraint, as the mind explored the possibilities of what awaited. Each scenario carried emotional weight, from the light-hearted joy of discovering a simple token of affection to the profound impact of receiving insight or revelation that could alter perspectives or inspire action. The imagination danced between realities, weaving narratives of connection, meaning, and fulfillment. The sense of divine orchestration was palpable. Michael's voice, though external in origin, felt internalized, resonating with an inner knowing, a deep sense of alignment with purpose and timing. It was as if the Archangel's insistence mirrored an inner truth, a prompt to trust intuition, to recognize synchronicity, and to act in harmony with the flow of life. The heart responded in kind, a subtle flutter of recognition, a warmth that spread from chest to limbs, infusing the body with readiness and attentiveness. The mind considered the implications of not acting, of hesitating or postponing the opening. The thought brought a slight tension, a realization that certain opportunities are fleeting, that moments of wonder are often transient, and that the act of reception requires presence, openness, and willingness to engage without preconceptions. Michael's command was both liberating and compelling, a gentle nudge that balanced encouragement with urgency, freedom with responsibility. The curiosity became almost tangible, a force that tugged at the senses and demanded engagement. One could imagine the act of opening as a ritual, a ceremony in miniature, where intention and attention converged to create a meaningful experience. There was a subtle reflection on the nature of divine timing, the mysterious ways in which life unfolds, and the hidden mechanisms that orchestrate the arrival of gifts, insights, and opportunities. The mind considered past experiences, moments when serendipity, intuition, or guidance led to discovery and fulfillment, often in ways that defied linear logic or expectation. The anticipation was enriched by memory, by the awareness that life frequently communicates in patterns, symbols, and signs, and that recognition of these moments requires both attentiveness and openness. The room seemed to hold its breath, a quiet stillness that underscored the importance of the present. The mind's eye imagined the arrival of the gift, the subtle rustle of paper or fabric, the glint of something precious or meaningful, the sense of possibility that hovered just beyond the veil of perception. Each imagined detail was vivid, imbued with emotional resonance, a reminder that wonder is often as much about imagination and anticipation as it is about tangible reality. Michael's insistence reverberated again, the echo of his voice weaving through consciousness with clarity and insistence. Open this at once. A wonderful surprise is on its way to your home. Don't delay, open it immediately. The repetition reinforced the sense of immediacy, the alignment of timing, and the importance of action. It was a prompt to engage fully with the present, to embrace curiosity without hesitation, and to trust the unfolding of life's gifts. The mind reflected on the layers of meaning inherent in the concept of a wonderful surprise. It was more than mere novelty, it suggested joy, connection, insight, or transformation. It implied that the universe had conspired to deliver something of value, perfectly timed, and that recognition and appreciation were integral to the experience. The anticipation created a heightened state of awareness, a subtle tuning of perception that made the ordinary feel extraordinary. Every sound, light, and movement seemed charged with potential, as if the world itself was attuned to the moment of reception. The heart's rhythm quickened slightly, a physiological echo of the emotional and mental engagement with the scenario. One could feel the subtle alignment of energies, the convergence of intention, anticipation, and readiness that formed the backdrop for the act of opening. The imagination continued to explore the possibilities, weaving narratives that ranged from the whimsical to the profound. Letter imbued with emotion and insight, capable of eliciting reflection, joy, or inspiration. Perhaps it was a carefully chosen object, a tangible token that carried symbolic weight and conveyed intention, care, and thoughtfulness. Each scenario carried its own resonance, its own texture of meaning, and each was approached with a sense of reverence and expectation. Perhaps it was a handwritten note. There was a recognition that the act of opening was itself a form of participation in the unfolding of life's mysteries, a conscious engagement with the unknown that required trust, presence, and attentiveness. The urgency imparted by Michael's words underscored the importance of timing and responsiveness, suggesting that some moments are fleeting, and that hesitation can obscure the fullness of experience. The anticipation was both exhilarating and grounding, creating a heightened awareness of the senses, the environment, and the internal landscape of thoughts and emotions. The room seemed alive with possibility, each shadow and beam of light imbued with significance, as if the act of opening would reveal not only a gift but a deeper awareness of connection, timing, and intention. Michael's presence, though unseen, was felt in subtle currents of energy, a sense of protection, guidance, and affirmation that underpinned the moment. There was an almost sacred quality to the anticipation, a sense that the act of opening was a ritualistic engagement with the divine, a symbolic acknowledgement of receptivity, trust, and alignment with universal flow. The mind reflected on the psychological and spiritual dimensions of surprises, of gifts, and of guidance. Each element carried lessons in attention, gratitude, courage, and openness. The promise of a wonderful surprise suggested abundance, the recognition of value, and the awareness that life often communicates through signs, synchronicities, and unexpected moments of joy. The insistence on immediacy emphasized presence, attentiveness, and responsiveness, qualities essential to perceiving and embracing such moments fully. The imagination continued to paint vivid scenarios, each rich in sensory detail and emotional resonance. The act of opening could involve delicate unfolding, tactile engagement, visual revelation, or the simple yet profound experience of recognition and acknowledgement. Each scenario carried potential for transformation, insight, or emotional uplift, reinforcing the significance of the moment and the importance of engagement without hesitation. Michael's voice echoed again, steady, clear, and insistent. Open this at once. A wonderful surprise is on its way to your home. Don't delay, open it immediately. The repetition acted as both instruction and affirmation, a gentle yet firm reminder that action, receptivity, and trust are intertwined, and that moments of opportunity often arrive in forms that require readiness and courage to receive. The anticipation reached a crescendo, a delicate tension between expectation and realization, between imagination and the physical act of engagement. The room seemed to vibrate subtly with the energy of potential, a quiet hum of possibility that imbued each breath, each heartbeat, with significance. The mind explored layers of symbolic meaning, reflecting on the archetypal nature of gifts, surprises, and divine timing. Opening a gift is an act of trust, a willingness to engage with the unknown, a recognition that life communicates in forms both tangible and intangible, and a celebration of presence and awareness. The insistence on immediate action underscored the temporal dimension, the alignment of circumstances, and the fleeting nature of opportunity, emphasizing the importance of responsiveness, attentiveness, and openness. The body responded in subtle ways, a heightened awareness of sensation, a readiness to move, to act, to participate in the unfolding of the moment. There was a sense of anticipation, of almost palpable energy, a quiet thrill that mingled with curiosity, wonder, and appreciation. The imagination continued to explore possibilities, weaving scenarios of delight, insight, and connection, each imbued with emotional resonance and symbolic significance. The mind considered the nature of surprise, of wonder, and of anticipation, recognizing that these experiences often transcend mere novelty, carrying deeper implications for perspective, understanding, and emotional enrichment. Michael's presence provided reassurance, a subtle grounding amid the excitement and urgency, a reminder that the act of reception is supported, guided, and protected by forces both seen and unseen. The repeated call to open immediately emphasized the importance of action, alignment, and trust, reinforcing the interplay between readiness, timing, and the unfolding of potential. The anticipation continued to build, a dynamic interplay between imagination, sensation, and emotion, creating a rich tapestry of expectation and readiness. The room, the body, and the mind seemed attuned to the moment, each element aligned in preparation for the act of opening, for the reception of the promised gift, and for the acknowledgement of the wonder that awaited. Michael's voice echoed once more, unwavering, clear, and resonant. Open this at once. A wonderful surprise is on its way to your home. Don't delay, open it immediately. The words settled into consciousness, a rhythmic insistence that reinforced presence, readiness, and attentiveness. The mind reflected on the significance of trust, curiosity, and courage, on the interplay between anticipation and realization, and on the layers of meaning inherent in the experience of receiving a gift, insight, or revelation. The imagination continued to weave possibilities, from the whimsical to the profound, each scenario charged with emotional and symbolic resonance, each suggesting pathways for understanding, appreciation, and connection. The act of opening became more than a physical gesture, it became a metaphor for engagement with life, for receptivity, for awareness, and for alignment with timing, intention, and universal flow. Michael's presence, subtle yet undeniable, provided reassurance, guidance, and affirmation, creating a sense of sacred space, of protection, and of readiness for the experience to unfold fully. The mind, body, and spirit aligned in anticipation, a delicate balance of curiosity, trust, and attentiveness that created a heightened awareness of the present moment, of the unfolding possibilities, and of the significance of engagement with the unknown. The repeated insistence to act immediately emphasized the temporal nature of opportunity, the alignment of circumstance, and the importance of readiness, openness, and courage in the reception of life's gifts. The imagination continued to explore a wide range of possibilities, each rich in sensory detail, emotional resonance, and symbolic significance. The anticipation created a heightened state of awareness, a subtle attunement to environment, sensation, and internal states, reinforcing the interplay between expectation, perception, and engagement. Michael's voice echoed through consciousness with clarity and insistence, underscoring the importance of presence, receptivity, and action in the experience of receiving and appreciating the promised surprise. The mind reflected on the layers of meaning inherent in the scenario, considering the archetypal, symbolic, emotional, and spiritual dimensions of surprise, anticipation, and engagement with the unknown. The act of opening was recognized as both literal and metaphorical, a gesture of trust, courage, and alignment with the flow of life, and a conscious acknowledgement of timing, opportunity, and the unfolding of potential. The anticipation continued to build, a rich interplay of imagination, emotion, sensation, and reflection, creating a heightened awareness of the moment, the space, and the significance of action. Michael's presence provided a subtle yet unmistakable sense of guidance, reassurance, and affirmation, reinforcing the importance of readiness, trust, and attentiveness in the experience of receiving and engaging with the promised gift. The repeated call to action, "Open this at once. A wonderful surprise is on its way to your home. Don't delay, open it immediately," served as a focal point for attention, intention, and presence, emphasizing the urgency, timing, and significance of the act of reception. The mind continued to weave scenarios, imagining textures, colors, sounds, and emotional impacts of the gift or message, each scenario charged with symbolic, emotional, and spiritual significance. The anticipation created a subtle tension, a dynamic interplay of curiosity, excitement, trust, and readiness, enhancing the engagement with the present moment and the unfolding experience. Michael's presence, though unseen, provided grounding, protection, and reassurance, creating a sacred space in which the act of opening could be fully realized, appreciated, and integrated. The act of opening, whether literal, symbolic, or both, became a moment of alignment, engagement, and recognition, a conscious participation in the flow of life, timing, and intention, and an acknowledgement of the wonder inherent in the experience of surprise and revelation. The mind, body, and spirit attuned to the moment, experienced a heightened state of awareness, anticipation, and readiness, each element contributing to the full engagement with the promised gift and the realization of its significance. Michael's voice echoed persistently, clear, resonant, and insistent, reinforcing the importance of immediate action, trust, and openness. Open this at once. A wonderful surprise is on its way to your home. Don't delay, open it immediately. The repetition acted as both instruction and encouragement, emphasizing the urgency, timing, and significance of the act of reception, and reinforcing the interplay between readiness, presence, and engagement with the unknown. The anticipation continued to build, a rich and dynamic interplay of imagination, sensation, emotion, and reflection, creating a heightened awareness of the moment, the unfolding possibilities, and the significance of action in the experience of receiving and appreciating the promised gift. The room seemed alive with subtle vibrations of potential, a quiet hum of energy that infused each breath, each heartbeat, each thought, with the sense of imminent revelation and delight. Michael's presence, though unseen, was profoundly felt, a subtle guidance, protection, and affirmation that underscored the importance of readiness, trust, and attentiveness. The mind explored layers of meaning, considering archetypal, symbolic, emotional, and spiritual dimensions of surprise, anticipation, and engagement with the unknown. The act of opening became a ritual of consciousness, a deliberate, mindful participation in the unfolding of life's mysteries, a gesture of trust, courage, and alignment with timing, intention, and universal flow. Michael's insistence reinforced this understanding, emphasizing that moments of opportunity often arrive in forms that require immediate engagement.